Erev Tov Rabotai. We're coming close to Hag Shavuot, Tuesday night, B'ezras Hashem, Ha'abani L'Tova. So we'll do some more Pirkeh Avot over here. It says in Pirkeh Avot, Hagas libo behora'ah, haraz shoteh, rasha, u'begas ruach. What does this mean? Very important halacha. You know, it's also brought down in the Shulchan Aruch, in the laws of Talmud Torah, this Pirkeh Avot. What does it mean? Hagas libo behora'ah. It's somebody, who thinks, that halacha, excuse my, is a joke, What does that mean? He thinks that, he can just guess, the halacha. Yeah, I know logic, I know logically what the halacha is. That's how you do halacha? What your logic says? This is how you do halacha?
You understand what halacha means.
You know what I mean?
Logically, you mean
right. But halacha is not logic. It's not the logic of human beings, it's the logic of Hashem. That's something else, We cannot compare, our logic doesn't compare to his logic. So therefore, right, it says here that a person who's gasli b'behorah, sometimes people ask him a question and he guesses, he says, I think, it's like this, he doesn't really know, but, so why is he answering them like this? Why? Because he doesn't want to say, I don't know, chas v'shalom, to embarrass himself. He thinks it's embarrassing, to say, I don't know what the halacha is. Sometimes you don't know, what can you do? No? It's not a busha, it's not an embarrassment not to know the halacha. You know what it says, right, in the Talmud? It says that Rabbi Akiva, one time, they came to him, the Kahal, and they asked him 3 questions in halacha in one day, And he didn't know any one of them. What's the answer? Didn't know. Even Rabbi Akiva, the greatest chacham in the Talmud, he didn't know the answer. So what did he tell them? I think it's like, he didn't tell them that. He said, I don't know what the halakha is. That's what he told them, Say the truth. If you don't know, say you don't know. What's the problem? Why are you embarrassed? Why? Because your ego can't stand it, right? Your ego cannot tolerate that you don't know something? I know everything. I have a hat, So, if I have a black hat like this, I know everything. Why? Who says what? Your hat? What does it have to do with your hat? If you don't know, just say you don't know. Be honest. That's the thing, Gasli bo behorah. A person like this, he thinks it, halacha, he takes it not seriously. He thinks it's a joke. So, what does a person really have to do to know the halacha? He has to, really the truth is, if you want to know really the halacha, you have to open up the books, and start looking over there. First, if you really want to know, look in the Talmud. And then look in the poskim, Rambam, Tosfot, right, the Rashba, Ritva, all the poskim, Rashi, look in the Rashi what it says first, before you go everywhere else. Well, you got to look in the books, and then look in the Shulchan Aruch, look in the Bet Yosef, right, look in the Achronim, look in Yebi Omer, look at Maran, he wrote some books, he wrote 54 books, Maran, my teacher, 54 books he wrote. You're not looking over there, the great rabbi of the generation, you don't care what he says? Yeah, I know, I don't need to look over there. I know everything. What do you know? What do you know? You think you're such a big shot, like this, you know everything? No, Gasli bo behorah, it's a person like this, who thinks, halacha, I can just fake it, I'll fake it. I don't know nothing, but I'll pretend like I know. I'll pretend. No, Gasli bo behorah. So, what does it say about this, a person? The problem is like this, when a person is like this, has this kind of attitude in halacha, the problem is he tells people the wrong answer, and then they go and they do a sin, and he caused the sin, that they did. It's his fault, This is, by the way, a question, you have to ask. The Rashba talks about this. The question is like this. If you have a rabbi, okay? Everybody has to have a rabbi, right? It says in Pirkeh Avot, Aseh lecha rav. You have to have a rabbi. Everybody has to have a rabbi. So, this is an obligation for every Jew. So, you read what does that mean? I'm going to ask my rabbi, what's halakha, right? But here's the thing, right? It says the Rashba, interesting thing about this. Whose fault is it? If you go to a rabbi, right? And this is your rabbi, and he's a good rabbi, he knows halakha. So you ask him a question, and he gave you the wrong answer, made a mistake. It happens, any rabbi can make a mistake. Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? That's the way it is, So what you think? The big rabbis don't make mistakes? Sometimes they make mistakes. 1 in a million, okay. But still they do, I remember one time, one person told me, that I was learning with a chavruta in Yehavadat. He told him one time, Maran was praying over the shachrit, Rav Ovadia, and he asked him a question, after shachrit, they prayed shachrit, and after he asked him a question, and the rabbi gave him an answer, and he walked out, okay, bye, shalom, kol tuv, yom tov, So what happens, right? About a half hour later, this guy goes home, So, okay, everybody went home. And so somebody calls him on the phone. Juk, 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 ding, 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 ding. Hello, who is it? So it says, this is Ovadia. He says, what Ovadia? He says, Ovadia Yosef. You know? So he told him, he said, I'm sorry. He says, the answer I gave you this morning, it was a mistake. I'm sorry, The right answer is not like that, it's like this. So I called him up, he said, Shalom, kol tov, So you see, right, that even a big chacham like this, he's not embarrassed to say, I made a mistake, we're all human. What can you do, right? Everybody can make a mistake. So here's the thing now if the rabbi makes a mistake, okay, and this Jew went and he did a sin because of this rabbi, So who gets the sin? Who gets punished? The rabbi or the Jew? The rabbi. So the Rashba says, yeah, the rabbi does. Who said that? The rabbi does. It's true. That's what it is, The rabbi gets punished. Why? Because he was depending on you. He doesn't know nothing, this guy. You misleaded him. You misguided him. It's your fault. So you're going to pay for that. That's the way it is, So you got to be careful. That's what it's telling you, right? So here's the thing. There's also a Rambam that talks about this, The Rambam says like this. There are some young guys, I don't mean to offend you, young guys, right? My friend over here, right? You young guys, one thing you have to know. The Rambam says, that you may be a Ben Torah, you learn Torah, you went to yeshiva, it's good, Baruch Hashem, beautiful, But don't, think that, once you reach the age of 19, 20, 25, you're already a big chacham and you're paskening halachot. The Rambam says these young students, who are doing this, they're destroying the world. You know why? Because they're not old enough. They don't have enough experience and education to paskin halacha. It says in the Gemara, Masechet Avodah Zarah, you're not allowed to paskin halacha until you're what? How old do you have to be? 40 years old. Not allowed to paskin halacha until you're 40. Unless what? Unless you're the big chacham of the town. You're the biggest one over there. Nobody's bigger than you. Then you can. But if not, somebody's bigger than you, you have to let them paskin halacha, not you. Until you're 40 years old, you're not allowed to paskin halacha. So this is what we're saying, So what happens is like this, that a person who behaves this way, makes the halakha like a joke. You know what they say about him, right? Rasha. First of all, he's a Rasha. Yes, Rasha. Yeah, you're Rasha. You're Rabbi. You're Rasha Rabbi. You're Rasha Rabbi. That's what you are. Why? Because you're telling people the wrong answer, and they're going and doing a sin because of you. Rasha. Shoteh. Another thing, right? Shoteh. What is shoteh? You're idiot. Idiot. Excuse my expression. What does shoteh mean? It means you're an idiot. This person who goes and gives answers like this, without knowing the halakha, checking in the books, what's the halakha, or asking some big chacham, he doesn't ask nobody. He's shoteh, idiot. And then, right, also, gasruach. What does gasruach mean? Gasruach means he's arrogant, haughty, He thinks he's a big shot, he's got his nose in the air, in the sky over there. He thinks he's something big. That's gava, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they say, what does he hate the most? The midah that he hates the most is gava. When a person has gava, he thinks he's something, I'm such a big chacham, I have a hat, I have a jacket, I look like, I have peot and this. Who cares about your jacket? Who cares about your hat? Did you learn Torah? Did you learn enough of Torah to tell people the halakha? Did you learn any of these things? So then a person like this, so what does it say in Pirkeh Avot? Shoter, Rasha, Gasruach. That's what you are. All these three things, that's what you are. So what's going to be? Lo aleinu, Shem Yinachem, right? This rabbi, he's going to go to Gehinnom, when he finishes his career, right? They're going to send him to Gehinnom because he, right? So I'm going to finish just now, right? So one thing is like this, right? Here's the thing.
Can he fix his mistake?
Yeah, he has to, just like, the rabbi did, he called him up. Half hour later, tells him, I made a mistake, this is how you fix it. You know what I mean? The tikkun is to say, modeh be'emet, right? You have to be modeh be'emet. Admit the truth, you made a mistake. Come in front of the cow and tell them, I'm sorry, I told you the wrong thing, Okay, let's correct it, that's how you fix it, that's how you do the teshuvah. There's no magic.
He already made the sin, let's say. He gave me advice.
Right.
He said, answer for the problem is this. He went and did it, and this was wrong.
Yeah.
Now Rabbi is faulty.
Right.
Can Rabbi fix his fault?
Yeah, you got to do teshuvah, say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, I gave you the wrong answer. This is the right answer, and please pray for me, say some tefillot for me, What can you do? What else can you do? And he has to give some din for that, obviously, they cause somebody to sin like that. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us with Hashem, that's how we get to Chag Shavuot. How is that? That it says, right, in the Chazal, that they have to be united, as one. What does that mean, united as one people? we have only one leader, right? In other words, the big Chacham, the Gadol Hador. We listen to him, he's the leader, and we go by him, this is the way to do it. Every rabbi doesn't have to think, I'm the Gadol Hador, I'm the big rabbi, of the generation. You were the big rabbi? Well, there's nobody bigger than you, are you sure? You're giving all the answers to everybody, to all the people? That's not the way to do it. Hashem should help us with Hashem. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Kashomer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעסוק בישראל, לפיכך ציווה להם תורה ומצוות שאומרים לחפש, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.